Good evening, namaskar, adab. It's a Friday after all, folks. So we thought, since it's the end of the week, why don't we look at an issue which has been so vociferously spoken about, which has been debated about so extensively across the country for so many days, weeks and months, that it's almost looking as if that is India's issue number one. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on Viewpoint, we're going to be seeking your viewpoint. Your point of view, your opinion on what do you think of Indian media. Why is it that wherever I look, I open newspapers, I look at magazines, I go on social media, I only see various people who may have nothing to do with the processes of India's media taking positions on the way the media is getting on with its job. Tonight on The Viewpoint, the job of Indian media, the responsibility of Indian media, broken down into exclusive 5 parts which will make you think hard and come to a conclusion on your own. Your viewpoint on what is it that Indian media is all about. Our headline number 1 on the program tonight. Ever since the killing of Burhan Wani last year, the country's media, India's media, has been even more of a persona non grata in the valley and is being accused of giving out a narrative which actually doesn't even exist on the ground. So what is it exactly that Indian media has been doing? What is it that you and I have been doing throughout this last year? If we question Burhan Wani, what did we do? If people tried to bring out, let's say, the human side to Burhan Wani and his family, what was the media doing? Was it discharging its responsibility, or was it trying to color your mind? That's our headline number 1 on the program tonight. Our headline number 2. Media forever has been accused of blatantly targeting Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party government. All you have to do is just look at the debate we had last night on the program. That debate has led the Aam Aadmi Party declaring a virtual ban on yours truly. Tonight, folks, I'm saying this with great responsibility. I had 2 interviews which were lined up with spokespersons, with leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. And I have been told that the Aam Aadmi Party decided that in light of this program that I did last night and the questions that I put up to the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, Mr. Chaube should not be given the right to question the Aam Aadmi Party spokespersons. Is that democracy? I ask you, is that the kind of polity that we have created? Am I responsible for it, for asking questions on a day when the NCD results had come out? Who's responsible, folks? I ask you to ask that question to yourself. Our headline number 3 on the program, the credibility of media. You know, you look at my Facebook posts, you look at my tweets, you look at my articles, you look at my programs. Bhupendra Chaube is one person who always takes this position. I am the biggest critic of my own self. I accept, folks, that there is a problem. There is a problem with the media. The media, the credibility of media has been under serious question right since the JNU episode. Those sedition cases, the media houses were accused of doctoring footage, distorting facts, and taking positions perhaps which did not exist. Media is to be held guilty if media lied. Our headline number 4. During the Gurmehar Kaur episode, what happened? Once again, the media was accused of blurring the lines between who's responsible for her father's death. But whether the attacks on Gurmehar Kaur were justified or not, when the media raised that question, suddenly the debate became between, is the media national, is the media anti-national? We'll be looking at that debate closely. What is the job of the media? Is the job of the media to take sides with who's national and who's anti-national? Is the job of the media, anchors, journalists, reporters, only and only to bring facts? Do facts just don't matter tonight? That's headline number 4. Headline number 5 on the program. Who can ever forget the 2014 Lok Sabha polls? And I think that's where this entire story of the so-called decimation of India's media really began. TV's primetime coverage, accused of giving significantly higher airtime to now Prime Minister Narendra Modi than Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal. Was media responsible for it, or was it, simply put, Narendra Modi's rock star image which was just attracting more and more people? Those are the 5 developments, folks, on the program, which is going to put a serious question on my mind. Now, you all know, usually I begin Viewpoint with my own viewpoint. Tonight, though, I thought long and hard about it, and I was looking at all the questions which were coming my way on Twitter and on Facebook, And I thought, keeping in mind the highest principles of transparency and accountability, I will give my viewpoint tonight at the end of the show. Once all of you have seen the views of our panelists, I also believe that on this particular topic, I happen to be a vested party. So I don't want to be taking this position, which many of you, many of my friends, many of my viewers may think is a position which is a politically correct position. I must admit right at the outset of the program that I am equally responsible for all the ills confronting the Indian media. But what's the way out? That's my real focus tonight. On the show tonight, please feel free to tweet me, to Facebook me. You can join me on Periscope. You can send me your comments, your suggestions, and I'll try and take as many of you on the program tonight as I can. Because I really believe that when country's fourth estate is being questioned, when our democracy's fourth pillar is under the scanner, it's you, the viewer, who really can make a difference. That dilemma that I have is the dilemma which is leading me to my blunt question tonight. And my blunt question is very blunt, folks. I'm being accused tonight by members of my own fraternity of running a campaign against my own fraternity. And I'm not running a campaign against my fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say this very clearly. Is the media, is our country's media fast becoming India's enemy number one? Have we, instead of reporting facts, ended up becoming our country's enemy number one? To answer that question, very special panel, folks. People who've been in the media far longer than I have. Vinod Sharma, political editor, Hindustan Times. He's taken very, very strong positions on which way the Indian media is going. A special guest, Suresh Nakhua. He's a social media volunteer of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And I must point out, one of the few individuals in this country who's followed by the Prime Minister. He's followed. Suresh Nakhua is followed on Twitter by Prime Minister himself, Narendra Modi. His voice reaches directly to Prime Minister Modi. So tonight, whatever you say, whatever you tweet against him or in his favor, be assured your voice is reaching the Prime Minister of the country. Also joining me, Irtika Qureshi. She's a Kashmiri journalist, and her views on Indian media are also very, very strong. She believes the Indian media must focus more on ground reportage rather than simply thinking in terms of giving their own opinions. Okay, so as we always do on Viewpoint, let's start off our program by giving all our panelists a minute each to make their opening comments. And once again, as I remind all my panelists, if you stick to that time limit, it will give me an opportunity to come with more questions to all of you. So let me first begin with you, Irtika Qureshi, and let me give you the buzzer first. Irtika, as a young Kashmiri journalist, and the kind of narrative which has taken place in this country, which today exists in this country about the role of media, when it comes to the Kashmir narrative, do you believe the media has covered itself with glory, the so-called national media, or do you believe the so-called national media actually has a lot of questions to answer tonight?
I believe that the national media has a lot of questions to answer because I, as a local journalist, I own 2 newspapers. So I work for those newspapers, and I, as a local journalist, I feel that I know the ground reality, while as the national media, when they come here and they report from here, ground zero, they do not know the actual story. They do not know what has happened. And even if they know what has happened, it's only for the TRPs and only for the attention that they want from the Indian citizens, the people of India. That is why they are doing all this. They frame the stories because I, as a local journalist, I know what is happening here. I know the basic truth that needs to get to the masses. But the national media, it never shows up the truth. If we have a stone pelting incident, because that is like common in Kashmir.
Yeah.
If we have that incident in
5
here,
seconds ago,
the national media, they say...
Yeah.
They say it like it's against the nation, but it's not. It's like we resist.
Against the nation, against the nation. Suresh Nakhua, let me come to you. Suresh Nakhua, if I was to say that actually the real problem with our media is, with our so-called national media, is that all of us, including me, and today I'm being very, very candid with you folks, including me, we tend to get carried away by the kind of comments which come on Twitter and Facebook. Twitter does not represent the voice of 1.21 billion people in this country, but somehow it appears that there are select groups, there are select target groups out there who have now mastered the art of creating an agenda which actually may not exist. So, Suresh Nakhua, Are you guilty of creating an agenda which doesn't exist? And is that the reason why this whole problem of who's a nationalist media and who's a so-called anti-national media, has that been created by the social media volunteers of the right wing?
Hello, Bhupendra.
Hi.
You said that people on Twitter and Facebook are creating narratives or agendas. I would say basically even your mainstream media, which you call it mainstream, is a fringe. What is your viewership as compared to the national channels? And what agendas are being run by media? And when you say there was no social media is responsible, I don't think there was any social media during Kargil war when coordinates were given and Pakistan bombed the place, right? There when bloggers were threatened by media just for writing a blog, even during 26/11, bloggers were threatened by one of your celebrated anchor. So it's not that way. Media is creating a fake narrative. Media has been doing it for last 10 to 12 years, and that is how it is going on.
If I was to say, Mr. Nakua, therefore, that members of the Sangh Parivar may have taken positions which were completely politically incorrect and which were completely non-democratic, should I be rubbishing the entire Sangh Parivar, including the BJP, because some elements of the Sangh Parivar took those positions? Should I be asking the Prime Minister or the people who matter within the BJP to be held accountable for positions which have been taken by the likes of Ashok Singhal or a Vishnu Hari Dalmia or a Praveen Togadia for that matter? You know, Vinodji, my problem is that exactly the sentiment which is echoed there by Suresh Nakua is that there are some people and some anchors who take some positions. I say if certain positions are taken by some anchors, why hold the entire media responsible for that? This is the same media which broke the 2010 Commonwealth Games scandal. This is the same media which questioned the government when it came to the demonetization policies. This is the same media which punctured holes in the versions which were being offered when the surgical strikes against Pakistan happened in July and August last year. Is the media really the villain of the piece as is being described by the likes of Mr. Nakua tonight?
Well, let me first talk about those who are doing their job. To take a position on an issue, one requires to take a position is a service to the country and to the viewers and to the readers. And I think that newspaper people should take positions. For instance, on Kashmir, I take positions. I think that there should be a dialogue. I think that there should not be excessive use of force. I think that their stone pelters should also lend themselves to reason. Now, if for this viewpoint that I am pro-dialogue, I am going to be called anti-nationalist or anti-national, I would be certainly rebutting that charge for the simple reason that I have my own definition of nationalism. I have a viewpoint, I have a worldview, and I want to share that with the people.
So what does that tell you? When you have the right to express your viewpoint with, let's say, the viewpoint of a certain generation or certain class of media, which may believe that your viewpoint is not acceptable, is that freedom of expression, or is it a case of media crossing the thin red line?
You see, may I tell you one thing? Freedom of expression is relatively exercised, you know. I think that freedom of expression or freedom of speech or freedom of the press is largely given to us. It's a derived freedom of freedom of speech, our freedoms. You know, we have been given this freedom to disseminate information as honestly as possible because it is believed that honest dissemination of information creates an empowered public opinion because information is power and that leads to a democracy that is robust.
Irtika, can I go to Irtika on that point? Because you are saying that the media's job, according to Mr. Sharma, is only and only to disseminate information. Now, my problem is, Irtika, that I believe that what is happening now is that media is, let's say, certain section of the media, or should I say large section of the media, we're not disseminating information. Actually, what we're doing is we're disseminating opinion which is based on our own biases. Is that what has happened with narration of events which have taken place in Kashmir, where the media has ended up becoming a vested party in the state of affairs there on the ground?
As the other panelists said, that the media, that it has to play the role of a mediator, that only and only shows the truth to the masses. It does not have to be like I have to express my own opinion. If you are related to a media organization, you have to keep your own opinions, you have to sideline them, and then you have to present the truth. Even if you like it or even if you don't like it, you have to present the truth to the public so that they can make their opinion. They have their viewpoint only and only based on what is happening and not on what you think is happening. If you think that Kashmiris are like anti-national or something like that, come to Kashmir, talk to Kashmiris, and you'll get to know what is happening in Kashmir. If you say that the stone pelters want to like do whatever it is in the media that you know, talk to the stone pelters and ask them why they are doing it. See, whoever is in the power, be it the government or the army or anybody else who is in the power, the media does not have to favor the power. They have to favor what is true. They have to become the voice of the voiceless. They have to become the power of the powerless.
I say it's not the media's job to favor anyone. I'm with you, Irtika. I'm with you, Irtika, and I don't think it's a media's job to favor anyone. But can I just play a clip? Can I just play? And I'm told Rana Ayub, well-known journalist and author who's written a brilliant book, is also joining us live now. She's dialed in. She's been looking at this program. And Rana Ayub is live with us as well. Thanks very much, Rana, for joining us. Before I come to you, Rana, I just want all my panelists, Rana Ayub, Irtika Qureshi, Suresh Nakku and Vinod Sharma, to look at this clip. Now, this is the other side. This is the flip side to this debate on media. This is what happened last night, folks, on Viewpoint. All of you are witness to this. This was, let's say, a conversation which was taking place between a spokesperson of a political party and a journalist. What happens when the journalist decides to hold a mirror before the spokesperson of the political party, which leads to that spokesperson feeling very, very uneasy? Just take a look at how this debate between Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson Raghav Chadha and me last night actually unfolded, and then I'll come to the consequences of that debate.
I do not wish to even address your hatred for Arvind Kejriwal.
That's okay.
You may go and vote for the BJP.
You can accuse me of what you want to, but that's okay. I'm saying this on a day when Uttarakhand High Court
itself.
itself.
Bluff. You
Wait.
As many obituaries of Aam Aadmi Party as you like.
Sir, I'm not. You know, I'm the last person who will write the obituary of any party, including the left party. Now, you know what happened? You know what happened after that? Raghav Chadha decided to put this clip of the entire program on Twitter, and he's accusing me of running a campaign against the Aam Aadmi Party. He's accusing me that I am being unfair by writing an obituary. Well, firstly, I wasn't writing an obituary. My point is, if I ask a question to anyone today, I'm being accused of writing an obituary. So where do I go? Rana Ayub, I ask a question to the BJP, I'm accused of running a pro-Congress agenda. I ask a question to the Aam Aadmi Party, I'm accused of running a pro-BJP agenda. What do I do, Rana, then?
Well, I think it's in trend, Bhupen, to shoot the messenger when you do not have any other solution to a problem. And unfortunately, you are being a victim of some unfair practices by our own colleagues in the media. Unfortunately, you know, there are sections of the media which are playing to patriotic sentiments. And I was listening to the Kashmiri journalist, and I absolutely agree with her when she said that every time there is a stone pelter, every time there is some kind of resistance, you have news channels dedicating in the entire half-an-hour program on how thankless Kashmiris are and whipping up sentiments of nationalism, and you know that gets them TRPs. So if your channel does not do that, or some other channel does not do that, of course you are anti-national. Of course you are not catering to public sentiment. Of course you are not being. For instance, when I go on television DP.
But what's my job? What's my job, Rana? Yeah. Rana, what's my job? Tell me, as active journalists, is our job to pander to a so-called sentiment which exists across the country, or is my job to hold a mirror to the society about what's going on?
Well, your job as a journalist, and I think the job of every journalist in today's day and age is to hold a mirror to the society, and I think you are doing that well. Unfortunately, people like you and journalists like you and other sections, for instance, on other news channels who I have great respect for, you know, they have faced a ban on their channel, they have faced a one-day ban, they have been called seditious, but unfortunately, but we have to keep on doing what we are doing. I mean, nobody can silence our voice, nobody can stifle our voice, so I think you and others need to just do their job.
I just want to go to Suresh Nakku on that one. You know, because Suresh Nakku, my point is, the more I look at comments which are made, and I'm saying this, I'm using my words tonight very, very carefully, because my intention is not to offend anybody. My intention is to do a factual debate, and on Viewpoint each night I only attempt to do that. Suresh bhai, my problem is that the kind of language which is sometimes used by you or by the likes of Kailash Wagh, who is another big BJP troll, or the whole host of trolls who abuse journalists day in, day out, call us names like prostitutes, call us names like sold out journalists. Is there a method to the madness? Have you been instructed to browbeat the media community? Is that what the game is, Mr. Nakua?
Now, number one, you are talking about language.
Yes.
Let's come to the language of journalists. Do you want me to show the records? Okay.
Journalists are also equally bad.
Miss Ayub, who is on your show right now, or Miss Swati Chaturvedi, or XYZ, I'll count 100 journalists with you and I can give their proofs. So on language, your point is gone.
Gone.
Now you are saying that you are being taught or you are being ordered to do so. Mind well that we are volunteers and we write what we feel.
Okay. So Rana, you also does what she does. Rana, you also says what she wants to say. Rana, you want to quickly rebut what Suresh is saying?
No, I need to know. I need to know from Suresh Nakua, and this is what propagandists do on social media and especially on news channels. I need to know when was the last time I used an abusive language on social media. And Suresh Nakua certainly keeps a tab on it, so he should point that out to me.
Suresh?
I'll definitely point out to you, because this thing abusive language will continue on Twitter even after the program. I'll point out your abusive tweets. Okay. And you tell me, when was I abusive last time?
No. Let's go beyond. You know,
so it's not being personal. Even journalists are abusive. I can name 100 journalists.
So journalists
and now coming to your basic question, you said people are being ordered, or people are being told to fire at media. It's not that way. Now you are talking about this is the same media which exposed this scam, that scam. I'll say this is the same media whose sting operation killed a soldier in Nagpur, whose live telecast killed a couple in 26/11.
Okay. Also,
this is the same media who's again. I'll come again to Kargil.
One more. Let's take it point by point. Let's take it point by point. Also, Arena's commentator and our resident commentator, Rajya Sabha MP Swapan Das Gupta is joining us live on the phone line. He's been watching this program. Swapan, thanks so much for joining us. I'm just getting Vinod Sharma a quick rebuttal, and then I'm coming to you. Vinod.
Mr. Nakua, I mean, I have never been accused of using foul language, you know. But may I tell you one thing, that despite keeping the best of civility in exchanges in social media, I have been at times called that surely your mother must have been a Muslim, just because I have a point of view on certain issues facing this country. I felt very unhappy and very sad. Is that nationalism? My nationalism is Indian nationalism. It has no religious tinge to it. It has no military tinge to it. It has no economic tinge to it.
Suresh,
it has no cultural tinge to it.
Let's get Suresh to respond. Suresh.
Sir, rotten apples exist everywhere, but it's just that 95% of the media guys are spoiling the name of 5% good people.
I agree with you. If that is the truth, if that's the truth, I'm very happy that if there is a very minor section of the so-called trolls who exist on social media platforms and who keep abusing journalists.
You didn't hear it properly. Bhupendra, you didn't hear it properly. I said 95% of the media guys are spoiling the name of remaining 5%.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. I thought you were trying to give me a compliment. Okay, I get that. You say that 95% of the media is biased. All right. I hope I'm not in that 95%. But Swapan Das Gupta, Swapan Das Gupta, please tell me, Swapan, what's the job of the media? This whole debate about media being nationalist, anti-national, are we supposed to be factual, or facts just don't matter today?
Look, I think one of the biggest problems which has affected the media is that it has tried to replicate the social media. The social media obviously has come in with a big bang. It has led to a lot of people getting empowered. But the social media has a function which is very different from that of the mainstream media. The mainstream media, in trying to replicate the social media and becoming more opinion-based in everything it does, has really shot itself in the foot. That's my belief. Okay. And what we see, the media reacting to what people saying on the social media, making an issue which is confined to, and getting all their principal news sources now from the social media, is itself completely farcical. Okay. You get days when the entire news is dominated by who said what on Twitter. Now, interesting as that may be,
yeah, sure.
That is not what your principal function is.
Yeah, sure.
So
I
you
take that
cease
point,
to
Sopan.
do-
I take that
you
point.
cease to
How many
do
debates
your
have we done on the
homework.
basis of what someone may have tweeted or what someone may have Facebook, Vinod Sharma?
Because most of the leadership which is governing this country is communicating with the people through Twitter. How many of them holding press conferences?
So it's a one-way process.
With all respect, may I ask, and will my friend Swapan Das Gupta tell me, am I or am I not entitled to a press conference by some of the top leaders of this country? I've been waiting for 3 years.
But every top leader has done a press conference at some time or the other, whether it's the BJP president, finance minister. If your question is the prime minister, the prime minister never done a press conference since he was the Gujarat chief minister.
No, but that's not the point. The point is that we have to interact with each other. The Prime Minister has chosen to interact with the people through Twitter and through other social media tools.
Final comment to you, Sopan. Sopan, I just want to know that who's responsible here? Is the political class responsible for the so-called deterioration in standards of media, or is the media, as you rightly say, has shot itself in its foot?
I think the media has shot itself in the foot. I think the media tried to be an intermediary in the entire political process, which was not its real role. And then when it got cut off from that process, it degenerated into something by becoming completely not opinion-based, but opinionated.
Okay.
And as a result, you're getting a fierce, vicious reaction from the social media. And since the media, the mainstream media and the social media have decided they've enmeshed themselves so totally, so you can't see the two different worlds anymore.
Okay.
So it's a big hodgepodge which is
So
happening.
your point
and I
is
think
that
someone will have to get out of this mess and actually take a step back and say, look, this is our role. This is what we need to do. This is what we don't need to do.
I'm putting my hand up. I'm saying very openly. I'm saying I want to be associated only and only with facts. I hope the viewers are in a position in which they enjoy the process of consuming facts. Thanks so much to all my panelists for joining us here on our big debate on Viewpoint. It's a fascinating debate, and frankly, folks, it's a dilemma which I go through on a daily basis. Is it opinion? Is it facts? The name of the show is Viewpoint. Yes, I want to inform you. I want you to be opinionated, but I want you to be opinionated on the basis of right facts. I don't want you to be opinionated on the basis of my own biases. That's not my belief. What's my belief? My belief is that despite the challenges, the Indian media has done exemplary stuff, from scams to political parties, political policies, whatever you can think of. And I'm saying the next sentence with great responsibility. And if you're watching it tonight, please spend some time thinking about it. You know what the issue is? The issue is with you, the viewer. You will get what you ask for. You will get what you demand. You will get what you see. So if you accuse me of running a bias campaign, of running an agenda, then I hold you responsible for it as well, because you are forcing my hands. My suggestion to you, use that remote very, very carefully. Next time you see a bias program, switch off. If you switch off, you're cutting my hands off. If you stay on with a bias program, a wrong narrative, I'm afraid you're doing a great disservice to India's democracy. It's not just my job, it's your job as well. Thanks so much for watching us on our Viewpoint tonight. Have a great weekend. Think about the points that we made. I'll see you again on Monday. Till then, goodbye. Good night.